Tank descent. The term tank descent refers to a military tactic that involves infantry riding on tanks into battle. This strategy was notably used by the Soviet Union during World War II and has been employed in various forms by other military forces as well. Tank descent enables infantry to move quickly across the battlefield, keeping pace with the tanks. Infantry riding on tanks can provide additional firepower and protection for the tanks. Sniper trap. The sniper trap is a tactical military strategy designed to lure enemy forces into a vulnerable position where they can be effectively engaged by snipers. This approach leverages the precision and stealth of snipers to maximize impact while minimizing the risk to friendly forces. Overview of the sniper trap strategy. Neutralize key targets. The primary aim is to eliminate high-value targets such as enemy officers, communication personnel, or key equipment. Center peel. The center peel is a tactical maneuver used primarily by military forces to execute an orderly and controlled retreat while maintaining defensive pressure on an advancing enemy. This tactic ensures that a unit can withdraw from a position without losing cohesion or exposing itself to undue risk. Orderly withdrawal. The primary goal is to conduct a retreat in an organized manner, ensuring that the unit maintains its defensive posture and does not fall into disarray. Swarming. Swarming is a military strategy characterized by the coordinated, simultaneous attack of multiple units or entities against a target or targets, often from multiple directions. This tactic is designed to overwhelm the enemy through sheer volume, speed, and unpredictability, making it difficult for them to mount an effective defense. Scorched earth. The scorched earth strategy is a military tactic where retreating forces destroy anything that might be useful to the advancing enemy. This includes food supplies, transportation infrastructure, industrial resources, and shelter. The primary objective is to deprive the enemy of resources and slow their progress, making it difficult for them to sustain their advance. The main goal is to deny the enemy access to resources such as food, water, fuel, and shelter. Skirmishing. Skirmishing is a military tactic that involves deploying light, mobile forces to engage the enemy in small-scale, irregular combat. These skirmishers operate ahead of the main body of troops to disrupt enemy formations, gather intelligence, and create confusion. Overview of the skirmishing strategy. Disrupt enemy formations. By engaging the enemy in small, scattered skirmishes, the tactic aims to disrupt their formations and delay their advance. Recon by fire. Recon by fire is a military strategy used to identify enemy positions and defenses by deliberately provoking a response through the use of direct or indirect fire. This tactic aims to force the enemy to reveal their location, strength, and disposition, thereby providing valuable intelligence for subsequent operations, identify enemy positions. The primary goal is to uncover hidden enemy positions, such as machine gun nests, sniper locations, or artillery placements. Marching fire. Marching fire, also known as walking fire or walking barrage, is a military strategy that involves infantry advancing on the battlefield while continuously firing their weapons. This tactic aims to maintain constant pressure on the enemy, suppressing their ability to return fire effectively and allowing the attacking forces to close the distance and engage in close combat. Suppress enemy fire. The primary goal is to keep the enemy suppressed, reducing their ability to return fire accurately and effectively. Defense in depth. Defense in depth is a military strategy aimed at delaying and gradually weakening an attacking enemy by deploying a series of defensive positions and obstacles over a large area. This strategy does not rely on a single line of defense, but rather on multiple layers, each designed to absorb and slow down the enemy's advance, thereby buying time to organize a counterattack or reinforce key positions. Flying wedge. The flying wedge is a military strategy and formation used historically to break through enemy lines by concentrating force at a single point. This tactic leverages the shape of a wedge, with the point of the wedge directed at the enemy, allowing the attacking force to penetrate and disrupt the enemy's formation. Overview of the flying wedge strategy. Breakthrough. Enemy lines. The primary goal is to create a breach in the enemy's defenses by concentrating force at a single point. Salvo. Given the absence of a widely recognized military strategy specifically named salvo, I'll create a hypothetical military strategy called salvo for the purpose of this explanation. Shock and overwhelm. The primary goal of the salvo strategy is to shock and overwhelm the enemy through the simultaneous and concentrated deployment of all available military assets. Maximum impact. By synchronizing the launch of artillery, air support, ground forces, and electronic warfare capabilities in a single massive assault, the strategy aims to achieve maximum impact on the enemy's defenses. Defeat in detail. Defeat in detail is a military strategy that involves defeating an enemy force by systematically engaging and defeating its individual components or subunits, rather than confronting the entire enemy force at once. This strategy aims to exploit weaknesses, isolate segments of the enemy's forces, and overwhelm them individually, leading to their eventual defeat as a whole. Fragment. Enemy forces. The primary goal is to divide the enemy's forces into smaller, more manageable. By isolating and concentrating forces against individual enemy units, the strategy aims to exploit their vulnerabilities. Oblique order. The oblique order is a military strategy and tactical maneuver that involves concentrating a significant portion of one's forces on one flank while maintaining a weaker or more defensive posture on the opposite flank. This approach aims to achieve decisive results by applying overwhelming force and achieving a breakthrough on the concentrated flank while also maintaining a defensive posture on the other flank to prevent enemy counterattacks or exploitation. Concentration of force. The primary goal of the oblique order is to concentrate a significant portion of one's trench raiding. The military strategy known as trench raiding involves small-scale surprise attacks launched by infantry units against enemy trenches during trench warfare. These raids were a common tactic employed by both sides during World War I and were aimed at gathering intelligence, inflicting casualties, and disrupting enemy morale and operations. Mouse-holing. Let's craft a hypothetical military strategy called mouse-holing. Mouse-holing strategy. Purpose and objectives. Disruption of enemy supply lines. The primary goal of the mouse-holing strategy is to disrupt and sabotage enemy supply lines and logistical operations. By targeting key logistical nodes, transportation routes, and supply depots,